Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Unit 3 test makeup. All right, so let's deal with this first question here, okay? So this first question is basically going to deal with your ability to write an equation and then to be able to solve it. All right, like something like this. So let's start with a pretty simple example. Okay, so let's look at this. You sign up for a gym membership. The gym has a special where if you pay an entire year's billing up front, you need to only pay half price for the whole year. You take advantage of this deal and end up paying $250. What is the normal yearly cost without this deal? All right, so we have an unknown here, so we're going to assign that a variable. We're going to call the normal yearly cost. Normal yearly cost, we're going to give that pretty much the most basic variable, x. All right, so we're going to call that cost x. Okay, and what is our scenario? Our scenario is that you paid 1/2 of the normal yearly cost and ended up paying a total of $250. So that means 1/2 times x equals 250, right? There's a number of other ways we could write this. We could write this as x divided by 2 equals 250, means the exact same thing, right? Or if you prefer to think in terms of decimals, we can think of 0.5 times x equals 250, right? Either of those three equations will work out, and they all represent the same thing. Okay, so now how do we actually figure out what the value of x is? Well, we're going to have to solve one of these equations. Let's pick this one. Let's pick the representation x divided by 2 equals 250. X divided by 2 equals 250. What do we do to solve for x? Well, x is on the left-hand side. It's being divided by 2. We want to undo that division by 2. So we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. X will then be by itself, and it's equal 250 times 2 is 500. So x is equal to 500. What does x mean? That's the variable to which we assigned the normal yearly cost. So we know the normal yearly cost of the gym is $500. All right, now let's look at just a slightly more difficult example. All right, so let's read here. You buy a product online that is on sale for 1/4 of its original price. You must also pay the standard shipping rate of $5. In total, you end up paying $27. What was the original cost of this item? Okay, so we have an unknown here. What's the unknown which we are trying to figure out? That's the original cost of the item, okay? So let's assign that a variable. So let's say the original cost. Let's just call that C this time, okay? That's the variable C. And what do we know about what we actually ended up paying? Well, we ended up paying 1/4 of the original cost C plus the $5 shipping fee or shipping rate. So let's go ahead and write down that expression. We paid 1/4 of C. So that means we paid 1/4 times C. And plus, we paid the $5 shipping rate. And that all came out to equal in total $27. So we have our equation 1/4 times C plus 5 equals 27. This is a relatively simple two-step equation to solve, and once we solve this, we will have our answer. Okay, so let's work on solving this equation. We are going to subtract 5 from both sides here. We're going to get 1/4 times C equals 27 minus 5 is 22, right? All right, so let me rewrite this over here. 1/4 times C equals 22. Well, this is the same thing as saying C divided by 4 equals 22. And what do we do to finally get C by itself? We're going to multiply by 4 on both sides. We're going to get C equals, what's 22 times 4? That's going to be 88, right? It's going to be $88. So C equals 88. That means the original cost of the item was $88. Okay, let's look at a slightly more complicated scenario. A company wants to sell as much of its product online in one day as possible. They offer half off the original price of this product, plus the standard $5 shipping rate. 150 people buy the product at the reduced rate. Write an expression representing their total revenue from that product for this day. Okay, so first we need to pick a variable. Let's say we're going to have to write the original price. Okay? We're going to call that, why don't we call it C again? We're going to call that C. Okay, so now let's try to write an expression representing the revenue. Let's write the revenue from each individual sale. Okay, what's the revenue? Well, it's the price of the product, but half off that price, plus the $5 shipping rate. So that's going to be 1/2 of the original price C plus 5. All right, so this expression right here gives us their revenue from each individual sale. Okay, how do we get an expression for their entire revenue from every one of those sales? Well, there's 150 sales, right? And each one of those sales is giving them a revenue equal to C divided by 2 plus 5. So we're just going to take the revenue from each sale, C divided by 2 plus 5, and multiply that expression by 150. And there we go. 150 times C divided by 2 plus 5. That is 150 times the revenue they get from each individual sale, which is the expression which represents their total revenue from all of the 150 sales together.